Just shortly, my name is Matthea De Jong. I'm a director of Tolhuistuin, which I'm going to tell you a bit more about. Before that, I worked in the arts and culture sector for a long time, mostly on human rights, refugee issues, anti-Black racism, things like that. And at the end of 2018, I made a pledge. I want to work on the climate issue for the coming 12 years. I told a lot about some things about in the masterclass a couple of weeks ago. Linda asked me to share some stories of art, inspiring art projects on this particular topic, because we need the imagination to make things work. And I twisted it a little bit, because I thought it's nice to share a bit of the interesting project I know, but I also want to make use of the expertise that is in this group of people. So I'm going to tell you some things, but I hope you also will share some of your knowledge and ideas with me. And the main question for tonight is, how can we use the culture venue where I work, Tolhuistuin, as a catalyzer for change towards a world that is just and fossil free? So keep it in mind. First, I want to show you the research area. So I'm going to share screen. Where is it? Yes. Yeah. Well, this is just graphic design of the area. I don't know. Do you see my mouse? Yeah. Here is, like, for the people who know Amsterdam, here is the eye on this side. Here is the northern part of the Tolhuistuin. Here is the big garden. Here is the restaurant. And here is where climate cleanup is in the upper floor. This is a picture from above. It is a bit twisted because it's like a 360-degree kind of picture. So on this side here is also, like, this is the window of Sven. Here is a little office of our organization. This is a big garden. There is salsa right now going on. And before that, there was book presentation. This is somewhere where I am right now, below. Here you can see, of course, the eye, and you can also see how centrally located it is in Amsterdam. Here's the central station. So here's by night. It's nice. This is the front side. This is the entrance to the garden. It's really lovely and green, and the garden is from willow trees, so it's growing. And this is a picture of the inside of the garden. It's really cozy, idyllic. A picture of the restaurant. So just to give you an idea, this is a picture of the concert hall where the club is in pre-corona times, of course, I need to say. And what makes this space also very special to me is that there is like 30 cultural organizations that also have their workspace on the Tolhuistuin complex. So there is partners like, well, Climate Cleanup, you can see the logo, but also Eurosonic, Into the Great Wide Open, Paradiso, documentary makers, well, lots of different Read My World, lots of different festivals, organizations, theater makers. So it's not just us, we have a scene. So you saw there are different buildings, there's different gardens, there is quite a popular restaurant. We have various halls for club, concerts, performances, talks. We have a podcast studio, outside spaces. And usually without Corona, we have like 200 to 250 visits every year. Well, I already told about the cultural partners, but it's to me, it's important. And the whole area is about like 18,000 square meters. This is all nice, but my second chapter for tonight is to get back to history, because this area has quite a interesting history. It used to be a cultural space for ages. This is a picture of this is a drawing picture, I don't know, 1905. This is a picture in the garden, quite elitist, I should say, but it's, well, lots of people came there to see the view, to join the atmosphere. This is like a picture from the central station taken. So from the people who don't know Amsterdam, sorry, but I hope you also enjoy a little bit. But this is, well, I really like this picture because it looks so different, but you can see the forest of the Tolhuistuin, which was at that time also a green area. This is an interesting space. This is the place where in 1914 de Bataafse Petroleummaatschappij established the first laboratory, and that was the company that was later called Shell. These are just two pictures from the first Dutch exhibition on shipping and on aviation. In short, it was really like an area of progress, you could say. This is a picture of the Bataafse company that called, well, the first lab. And there they built the area, gradually, slowly but gradually. And in the end, it was like 27 hectares of space where they had all the workshops, the biological department, the tank installations. This is a map of the Tolhuistuin at that time, with a medical department. This was also a restaurant, a different one than we have right now. This is like the whole area was Shell, like like this. So this was like the beating heart of the fossil fuel industry. They had the polymer center, the motor lab, the large lab. This was here. There's the Amsterdam Tower, the tank installation, the petroleum port, everything. All the scientific and technical research was done on gasoline, asphalt, kerosene, pesticides, cracked gas, chemistry, and many things more. In 1976, the pavilion, is that the right way to pronounce? But like this space where we are right now, opened up, and it was the restaurant. Here's the biological, the proeftuin, the biological department, a research lab. Like really, I really like all these nice pictures. It was really like the center of technical ingenuity, front runner on innovation. This is, well, actually I'm here now. If you look at this building, an architect told me it is a bit like a UFO. You see this block coming down from outer space to planet Earth, and it says a bit about the time that this place was designed. It was like the time of the first moon landing, and the first time when we saw planet Earth as the blue marble. They had a drawing room. Like this is a picture of the lab. This is an interesting one because the first computer in the Netherlands was installed next door in the Amsterdam lab. It was called The Miracle, and this is Lily Zweers. You see on the picture this beautiful lady. She was one of the first female employees working with The Miracle. It was quite huge. This is just a small part of it, but just to draw you an idea of how this place was used. It was almost 100 years. It was the heart of the fossil fuel industry. It was a research center. It was all the innovations. Everything was done here. All the patents were registered here. It was huge, but also all these years, the whole area was closed to the public. So nobody could come in. It was gated. There were slagbomen, how do you say, like all these, you couldn't come in. And in 2009, Shell sold the site to the municipality of Amsterdam, and lots of people really fought for this place to make it public and not sell it to commercial entrepreneurs, but make it really like a cultural hub, especially for the people living in Amsterdam North. So that was beautiful. And in 2012, the Tolhuistuin opened the doors to the public. And since then, numerous of activities have been organized. And as I said, there is a popular restaurant. I came to work here in last year, 2020, 2 weeks before Corona hit in. It was a nice start. But I was also a woman on a mission because I wanted to work on bringing the climate, all the questions on the climate issue to a broader audience. So this is the question for today. How can we use this specific spot, centrally located in Amsterdam, in one of the greenest part of Amsterdam, really as a catalyzer for change? How can we, and we are a public space, so we want to tell the story to our audience. This is a nice picture of one of the projects we did with the canoes. But yeah, we have to rethink, reinvent, redesign almost everything we know. We need new stories to change the world. We need new music, new images, new designs. And the climate issue is the big story of our time. And well, you all know, and I don't have to tell you, but I'm gonna do it anyway, that the decisions that we make over the next few years will be the most important decisions that we make. And these are crucial for our future, for our peace, for our security, and also for our food security. And we have to deal with a world that is radically changing. But how do we do it? What does it mean? And who does what? And since I started to work on this issue, I saw that a lot of people were not really like engaged with the topic. And I feel that these are questions for all of us. And we all need to be aware of the choices that we make. And my theory of change is we need new stories. Let's see. Wait. Oh yeah, here I am. Because I feel that only when you are touched in the heart, change is happening. Because you can see all the technical reports, you can see all the numbers, you can see all the percentages, but only when you're touched with the story, with the person that you meet, like an image that you see, a music that hits you in the heart, you feel like, okay, this is something that I'm gonna work harder. Like I'm gonna work on it. And sometimes you need to see it to be it. Sometimes you need to see an image that you're drawn to, that you feel like, okay, this is also a future scenario that I can work towards instead of seeing the world as it is right now. And change requires imagination and ideas, but also a place together and to work together. So this is like a really nice picture from a work of Banksy. So here, Linda, here are some of the pictures that I promise you. I don't believe in global warming. Well, you see it right away. Of course, you should believe in it because we're drowning. This is an older one from Agnes Dennis in 1982. This is New York, Manhattan. Can you imagine Dam Square with this? Beautiful, right? This is a picture of a work from Cordell, a Spanish artist, street artist, and the title is Politicians Discussing Global Warming. This is another monumental artwork. It is a work from Olafur Eliasson, a well-known famous artist. And this is in 2015 when he brought all these big ice blocks from Greenland to Paris, where the COP was, and you could feel the art pieces, you could listen to it, you could see it melting, and that was like his way to tell the story. It is here, it is happening right now, and open your eyes. This is a work from Klaus Lipman in Australia. He thought, okay, we go to the stadium and we watch a football game, but why not plant a forest and look at it and admire it and see how it works? So actually he just did it, and I really like it. And it also reminded me of a project that I really, really admire and look forward to, and which had not happened yet, but this is an artist impression from Bosk, and it is an idea from Joop Mulder, whom some of you might know because he was like the initiator of Oerol in Terschelling, beautiful theater festival every year. Unfortunately, he passed away earlier this year. This is in Leeuwarden, where I worked for the cultural capital, and the people that organize the cultural capital, they work on a new project, and this is a walking forest. So they are actually making a walking forest that will, for 1 year, walk throughout the city, and to let people feel and imagine, like, how would our city look like if it was part of a forest, and also like the task of the reforestation that we need to do to double nature. I think what I also said during the masterclass, and which is what is really important to me, is that the climate issue cannot be seen apart from as a social issue. So often it is discussed as a technical, exclusive, and economic problem, but many times actually it is a question of climate justice. Who has a seat at the table? Whose voice is heard? Who is being taken care of? How do we divide our resources? And I think you all know that climate change is affecting the most marginalized communities all over the world first. And this is something that we need to take. That I think this is where we have to start working. And that brings me to the donut. I think this is a model that also some of you might know. The Donut Economy is a book that was written by Kate Raworth, a British economist. And I really like this model because for the first time I saw a model where the human rights issue is connected to the ecological issue. And because you see the outer layer, you see that's the ecological ceiling, climate change, ocean acidification, chemical pollution, freshwater withdrawals. You can see it all, land conversion, biodiversity loss. This is like where we should stay within, not to, like, now I think it's like 3 times that we in the Netherlands use our planet annually, or worldwide even, I don't know. But we should get back into the outer layer of the donut, the ecological ceiling, but also we should stay within the social foundation. So we need to we need to take care of enough food, of enough water, energy, networks, housing, equality issues. People should have a political voice. We need to guarantee peace and justice, income and work, education. So these are 2 parts of the same coin, medal. And I think for me it is a really nice model to see how we in Tolhuistuin can work towards a world, like a small mini society, where we can guarantee all these issues on the ecological ceiling, but also all the issues on the social foundation. And when I say Tolhuistuin community, I mean it like in a bigger sense. Like you can literally look at the space, but the space is also the space from the northern part of Amsterdam, or the space that represents Amsterdam, or so the community that comes to our place. Yeah, for me, I saw the assignment to get into the donut in 3 stages. I thought, okay, our core task is to develop or to work on cultural projects and invite people to go there. So we need to develop new stories, new images, new music, and we can invite all artists we know to do that. The second one is we can also use this space, this complex, as a living lab, as a public research area. And public is underlined because there are many research areas where things are tested and where experimentation and innovation takes place. But I think our job is to make it public and to tell the story to the audience. So not behind the scenes, but in front of the scenes. And the third thing is that, of course, like in a more literal sense, we try to work our way into the donut. So we do these solar panels. We try to get a garden on top of the office of Sven, Poortgebouw. And so we have this whole calculation how we do that. So that's our like more literal job that we do. But we thought if we can share that also with a wider audience, we can share our lessons learned, we can share our successes, but also our failures, and try to use it as a way to kind of scale up. So these are some of the projects that we did with Tolhuistuin. This is New Netherlands. New Netherlands. You can see 3 ladies on a tall bike, and they bicycled all their way from the southwest from the Netherlands, Zeeland, to the northeast, Groningen, and they bicycled along the sea level line. Along the way, they spoke with people who lived there and also with people they asked to come, and they made podcast programs about it. But in this one picture, you can see, hey, 3 ladies on a dike, interesting. And they planted the flags. You can see the flags from one side, but on the other side, you could see a picture of the Netherlands with, halfway underwater. But it was a nice kind of journey to start a discussion on this issue. And they made all the radio, telly, newspapers. So that was nice. A project that we work on right now, I hope it will start to happen, but it's still in progress. It's the Patent Liberation Front. It is from Shiloh Phillips, and she discovered that artists, unlike everyone else, are in a position to work with patents freely, as long as it's not for financial gain. So she wants to free patents and invite technicians, do-it-yourself people, artists to work on the innovations, because she said, well, this whole system of patents is also kind of blocking innovations, but we as artists can be like the catalyzer to open these patents. So I thought this was a super refreshing idea. So we hope to start working on that with her. This is a project, The Intimate Earthquake by Marie Cecil Ton. We did that project together with Fiber Festival. You can see this lady, and she wears this vest, and by this vest, the lady could feel how an earthquake actually feels, because we read in the papers on all these earthquakes in Groningen, but well, at least in my case, I'd never experienced how it felt. And these wooden structures, they are a reference to many of the buildings that are now unstable due to this earthquakes. This is a web series that we developed, Heat, translated to English. It is a 12 aflevering, a series of 12, where we see how a heat wave is affecting like everything we know. And the series is based on scientific research, and we released it last year. And we will re-release it this year, because due to Corona, it went not as we hoped with audiences. A lot of people watched it, but it can have a little bit more attention. But the series traveled all over the world with all the festivals, had lots of awards and nominations. So it's an interesting way to also get a new audience group on board on these topics. We rehearsed a citizen assembly with het grote straatberaad, we call it, the big street assembly. And this is a project that we are also still working on. We will start doing it in September, October again. It is a very bottom-up way to use deliberation as a way to kind of meaning forming, like to make up your mind, to discuss with your neighbors, and to gain ideas, knowledge for politicians and people in power to see what is the bottom-up input for social change, and We are also working on an official national citizen assembly. That's what I do with Bureau Burgerberaad on climate and ecological issues. So we hope to have this as part of the national campaign if this national citizen assembly really will be realized later this year, hopefully, or otherwise next year. At least that's what we strive for, but we're hopeful. This is an artistic repair shop that we did with artists. It was really nice. It was a small project, but really cool. We had every week another artist. People could come to bring in their broken stuff, and the artist would repair it the way they wanted it to be repaired. So it was also a wink to the to what's culture, but also at that time all the cultural venues had to close the doors while the shops were open. So it was also a bit like, we make a shop, okay. And we had a lot of media attention. So this is the Onkruidenier with climate and art. Lots of times it is also a bit of doom scenario and grounded sci-fi and a bit of the like wake up. This is what happens when we don't do anything. But the Onkruidenier is one of the artists that is kind of embracing a new future, and they said we need to start our research how to live with the scene. So for 10 days, they did an artist in residence here next to the IJ in front of the Tolhuistuin, and it's part of an ongoing research. So they did also lots of chalk talks, how we as human beings can be more like living with the sea. This is the last project that I want to show you. The wooden blocks are much more greener right now, but this was the start. This is a work in progress. This will be the living exhibition of climate solutions that we make together with Climate Cleanup. So in every wooden box, there is another climate solution, can you translate, Sven, for me? Olifantsgras.
Elephant grass.
Elephant grass. So easy. But I think all the solutions that you guys know much better than I know. I asked Sven for an idea. He came up with this idea, and I thought it was just really nice because you can actually walk through all the solutions, and like gradually we will build on this one. So this is just a start. On the gray parts, there will be an instruction from an artist who will draw like what is it like and what can it do. Today these were brought the olivijn. We will make a path so people will be able to walk over the olivijn path to the museum, the open air museum. So yeah, here is actually where I want to stop because I want to hear from you. I hope you liked what I shared, but I'm really, really curious. Like, what are the things that comes up to mind, and what are the things that I can learn from you guys? And I made these 3 questions, like what kind of stories, what kind of images, what kind of music, but also like, is there any clues or ideas that you have if I say, like, can we be a living lab for innovation and experimentation? What are the partners that we need to talk to? What are the challenges that we need to give space to? And also the last question is like, how can we share our story to really inspire others and to scale up this whole story of change? So I don't know. I'm curious. Maybe I'd like to open up the discussion. I just was just a really nice like summer vibe, which is today. And also, if you'd like to reach me, you can reach me on this email address, Matthea@Tolhuistuin.